A year ago today, my friend Kendall passed away in a tragic accident. Now, this is something that's stuck with me ever since then and will continue to stick with me for the rest of my life. And it's just had a huge impact on my life. So I wanted to record this video to kind of reflect on what this last year's been like and the lessons learned from this, and also to issue a challenge to you at the end of this video. So I'm going to try to get through this story and lessons without choking up, but I hope you'll forgive me if I do. So about a year ago to the day, like I said, exactly a year ago to the day, Kendall, myself, and a bunch of other friends and employees went on this celebration cruise for our company. It was celebrating the top performers, the top managers, and it was meant to be this time of celebration and of achievement. We'd all worked really hard, and it was just a really good time to celebrate that and to celebrate all these managers who had done so well. And on the very last day of the cruise, there was a tragic accident where Kendall passed away, and he passed away right in front of me. And it's one of those things where I had never seen anything like that. I'd never been in a situation like that. I'd never had someone close to me pass away like that. And it's one of those things that when it happens to you, you can never forget it. You can never. There's like you can't unlive that experience. And I just remember that whole day and going through airports and getting on planes and just all the things that happened. Like I can still remember that to the day. I can remember the sights, the sounds, the smells, the clothes that I was wearing that day, and all those things, as it just felt sort of like an out of body experience of that happening. And I, I remember that the night before this happened, that my friend Kendall and I were talking about 5-year plans. We were talking about his goals. We were talking about the things that he wanted to do, that he wanted to accomplish, what was coming up for the next year, what was coming up for the next few years. And right after this accident happened, I mean, I went through all the standard things. I mean, all the things that you would expect, right? Grief. I felt guilty. There was something I could do to prevent it. There was all these things that were kind of weighing heavy on me throughout the years since then, and that have weighed on me. And one particular conversation I really remember pretty vividly is a conversation I had with Kendall's dad, which is just an amazing person, just a strong man. And I remember I was just always impressed by how well he handled this, how strong he was throughout all of this. And I remember talking to him, and he said, you know what, Kendall, he was our only son. He was a family name. He, he was so many things to me and so many things to our family. And I'm older. I can't have another son. I can't have another kid, and nothing that I can do can ever replace Kendall. And I just remember talking to him about that, and then him saying the only positive, the only good that can come out of this is if other people's lives are benefited for the positive, and if people are positively benefited because this happened. And I just remember that weighing really heavily on me. And at the time that this happened, it was, um, you know, I was about to drop out of school, or I'd already dropped out of school actually, and my business was really struggling. It was just like a really tough time, and I was getting pretty jaded and pretty burnt out with what I was doing. I remember after that, just feeling all those things that I talked about. I remember feeling responsible for this. I remember feeling like just a sense of guilt and a sense of just like I had to be the one to make a positive experience out of this, and to make this into a positive experience, because I remember talking with Kendall and hearing those 5-year goals, and then after seeing him pass away, thinking that, like I said earlier, he'll never get to hit those goals, right? He'll never get to do those things that he wanted to do. And I know from knowing him personally how good of a guy he was, how awesome of a person he was. and how much he really wanted to make this world a better place. So I felt the burden on my shoulders to not only live for myself, but I felt like I still feel like this, that I am living for him too. So that it's living for the both of us, and making him proud, and making a good come out of this situation. And that's one of the reasons that I have this bracelet, which I wear every day. Which you see here, it says "Make him proud," and it's a constant reminder every single day that what I'm doing, I want to do it to make him proud. And then you see on the other side of the bracelet, WWKD. That's what would Kendall do? Because I know I do, just like probably a lot of you guys, is you go through everyday life and you get mad over stupid things like my computer's slow, I'm sitting in traffic, first world problems, right? All these things that for me just piss me off so much, or I get just instantly mad. And then this is a great reminder to look down at this bracelet and say, hey, what would Kendall do in this situation? He would probably handle it much better than I'm currently handling it, because he's a great person, and because he had a great integrity and just an even keeled attitude. So it's a great reminder for me to look down and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't get so mad about this. Uh, I'm here living this out, and Kendall's not. And for me to get upset over something stupid like this, uh, that doesn't really make any sense, and that's actually really, really selfish. So that's coming out of that, some things that I learned since then. Like I said a little bit earlier, during that time, my business and my life was kind of at a low, and it kind of kicked me in the pants to take a look at what was going on around me. And what it did is it raised my BS meter, and it just kind of helped me realize, okay, all these things out here that I think these things are important, none of this stuff matters, and it's really this right here that's important to me. So it's removing all this stupid stuff that I'm spending my time on, and narrowing my focus, and looking right in here, and like I said, raising my BS meter and asking tough questions. Like the tough questions that I asked immediately following was, is what I'm doing, does it really matter? Is this what I'm doing making a difference? Is what I'm doing making this world a better place? And the sad answer to that mostly was no. And the things that I was doing at the time, they were for the wrong reasons, or that they weren't making a big difference in the world, and they weren't making the world a better place. And I had to answer those tough questions. And so since then, it forced me to say, okay, how can I make the biggest difference? How can I make this world a better place? And how can I make Kendall proud? And and how can I make positive come out of this for the rest of my life? And for me, the immediate answer was through the work that I'm doing through self-publishing school. And I'd seen kind of a glimmer of what that could be, and I'd seen people go through the program and seen people had success, and how this program changed people's lives, and how a book was a tool to carry their message. And even with Kendall, he went through some of the stuff that we taught, and right before he passed away, he'd written a book, and some of his friends were able to publish that book after he passed away. So it was so cool to see him live on through that book, and that kind of helped me see the power of this and the power of what we're doing. It put a real purpose back into my life at a time when I was at a low and motivated by the wrong reasons, by money, by other stupid stuff that really didn't matter. And so it put some purpose back into that. And since then, it's given me this fire, this passion, this burning desire to learn, to make him proud, to make a huge impact on the world, and to grow my business as fast as possible in order to do that. Because I see this as an engine to make that impact. And just to give you an example of what's happened since then, you know, at the time that happened, we had done 86 grand all of last year. And at the time I record this video, we're almost 3/4 in the year, and we've already hit $1 million in business this year. So over 1,000% growth in 3/4 since this happened. And I can only think it's because of Kendall, and because of the motivation that he's given me, and the purpose that he's put into what we're doing. every single day. And I share revenue numbers just as a gauge, because that makes it tangible. But really, behind all those numbers, what's more important is the people that are being helped, the lives that are being changed, and the impact that we truly are making here. And I had a really awesome day last Wednesday where I had several meetings and calls throughout the day, and I got a chance to talk on the phone with a bunch of our students. I got a chance to talk with all of our coaches inside the program. I got a chance to have our weekly hangout with our community, and I also got the chance to talk with the community managers that are managing the community. And it was like each step of the way, we were talking about uh, about Kendall, about the impact that he's made. We were talking about the purpose behind our business. And I just remember getting to on so many phone calls, people saying, "Hey, Chandler, thank you so much for creating this program. This book has given me purpose. This book has given me a reason to wake up and something that excites me and excitement in my life. This book has turned my life around. This program's turned my life around." And I kept hearing this over and over and over again. And on the hangout, there were tears as we talked about this, and as we talked about the impact that's being made on calls. There were tears as we talked about the impact that's being made. And one of the biggest stories that stuck with me was from one of our students. And she said, "Last year, my dad got diagnosed with cancer." And I thought to myself, oh, it was a shakeup to think, okay, what am I doing? And it caused her to quit her job and to start an art studio, which is something she always wanted to do. And then 5 months after that, to the day, I'm sorry, I reversed the order. So initially, her sister got diagnosed with cancer. 5 months later, to the day, her dad got diagnosed with cancer. And then that caused her to say, okay, what's going on here? And it caused her to have this idea for her book. And now, out of that, the good that came out of that was her doing her book. And that was the entire why behind her book, so that she can help other people avoid cancer by doing basic things and having better health. And that's the whole why behind her book. And I just remember hearing that, and finally hearing like something, or sorry, finally hearing someone who related, who I could relate to in a common experience, and feeling like there was some purpose behind what she was doing. And I love that. And that was just kind of the theme for that whole day, of hearing what we're doing inside Self-Publishing School, and helping people. And that's the whole reason we do what we do, and the whole reason we grow. And it just kind of took things full circle for me, because it was coming up on 1 year, and it just really made me think of how proud Kendall would be, and how we're working every single day to make the world a better place, and to make him proud through what we do, and to see other people with that why and with that passion following out on their dreams is really, really inspiring. So I know I've gone really long with this video, and I'm sorry, but I want to just share one more story, and then I want to issue a challenge to you, and and that's you, whoever's maybe watching this video. But the last story I want to share is, this is a story that stuck with me. A few months after Kendall passed away, I watched a documentary called "The Men Who Built America," and I remember seeing in there that John D. Rockefeller, he's one of my idols, and one of the people I really look up to. And John D. Rockefeller, he was going on a meeting with Vanderbilt, the tycoon of his time, and he was going on to meet him to negotiate a deal. And before he went on this meeting, he said, "You know what? Actually, he felt like he needed to go to his church and to pray." And so he said, okay, he went to his church, and then on the way from his church to the train station, his carriage broke down, and he missed that train. And what happened was, the train took off, and literally, he found out the next week that train had actually took off and derailed on a bridge, fell off the bridge, everyone died. And he took that as a sign for him that that was his defining moment in his life, where he said, "You know what? God has a bigger plan for me, and there's actually a reason that I'm on this planet, and there's a reason that I'm still here, and that I wasn't on that train, and that I didn't fall off that bridge with all those other people. And I remember just relating to that so much, and not in a self-serving or egotistical way. Uh, but I just remember thinking of that, of from this instance with Kendall, and thinking how, this is my defining moment. I was a very unemotional person, working hard, motivated by the wrong reasons, just not in a really great spot. And this is the moment that I continue to look back to be like, man, that changed everything. That gave my life a purpose. That gave me some reason behind what I'm doing, and a drive, a never-ending drive to make this world a better place. And you know, if you know me well, you probably know that I'm pretty much a workaholic and that I work all the time. And people are always asking me why I work so hard, or telling me I need to slow down. But that is the drive behind that. That is the reason that I do what I do, and that I every day work long days, is because there's so much more behind this, and there's so much more behind what we're doing. And I know that we have the potential to really change the world with what we're doing, and I have just this never-ending drive to change the world through what we're doing at self-publishing school and beyond, and to make this world a better place, and to make other people's lives a better place, or to make other people's lives better, so that long after I'm off this earth, that this world will be a better place, and that it'll be a better place for all the people after that. So that's what drives what I do. And I want to leave you with a challenge. I know this is, like I said, I'm sorry, I know this video is going long, but I want to issue a challenge to you. And that is to ask yourself some tough questions. Does what you're doing right now, does it really matter? Are you making a difference in the world? Are you making this world a better place? If you were to die tomorrow, would you be happy with what you've done this far? Would you be happy with the life that you've lived? I want you to really take some time and ask yourself those questions. And there's some tough questions, but if the answer to that's no, you got to make some changes. And I don't want it to have to be a situation like this for you to make these changes. I don't want you to have to go through something like this to make those changes. I would rather you just listen to this and ask yourself those tough questions. And if that's the case, you need to make some changes. Maybe it's like the student. Maybe you need to quit your job and start an art studio, or start something that you really want to do. Maybe it's pursuing a lifelong goal. Maybe it's to stop chasing money and do something with some purpose. And maybe you'll make less money, but you'll have a more fulfilled life. Maybe it's finally writing that book and getting it out of your head and getting it onto paper, so that long after you're gone, you can make a difference. Maybe it's changing jobs, starting that business. Who knows what that is? But if you're not making the difference that you want to make, ask yourself those questions, and commit to making some changes from that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this helps. And I want you to ask yourself those questions now. Talk soon.